I mean, I could feel it from afar when I wasn't here. You just know that they're two teams that, have a bunch of pride, that both play at a high level, really well-coached teams with a bunch of recent success. So I'm, excited to be a part of it. It's excited to, get my first taste of it.
They're off to a terrific start, and it looks really like it was a great move to get them. I think he's uplifted their program, it seems, and they're excited about it.
This is another divisional game. It's going to be a big game for us. So back-to-back weeks with good quarterbacks, they can do a lot of things with their feet and arms. So another challenge, but we're ready for it.
We have a great understanding of what they try to do on defense, and obviously they're very good at what they do. So, it'll be a great challenge in a good way.
What a way to start Week 5. No extra effort needed to hype this one.
Boom.
Rams at the Seahawks. 3-1 versus 2-2. A 2-game swing. They're either both going to be 3-2 or the Rams are going to be 4-1. And the Seahawks, after starting last year 5-0 and not ending it nearly as well as 5-0 would suggest, would be at 2-3. Wow. Well done, NFL. We have been spoiled this year with some great primetime games, and hopefully this one won't be 44-0. Hopefully it will deliver. But on the surface, it has all the indications, Chris, that it will.
I'm pumped for it. I am. I mean, when I saw this, I don't look at the schedule really until Monday a little bit, really, right? And when I saw Thursday night game was Rams-Seahawks, I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, I'm always excited for Thursday night, just like we said last week. I don't care. Jaguars, Bengals, whatever. It's an opportunity for us to sit down and watch one game. So I always love that aspect. But, man, yeah, it's meaningful. Like you said, the NFC is legit. The NFC West is the best division in football. You fall behind in this division, you could be in big trouble. And, I got two different feelings about both teams that, we'll talk about here and kind of unpack.
Yeah, let me just say this. You mentioned the Jaguars-Bengals game. I have a feeling Sean McVay is not going to hang around Seattle for a couple days after this one.
You
got
think?
A weird feeling.
You think that psycho guy would do that,
just
right?
a weird gut feeling that he's going to get on the plane and go back to L.A.
No doubt.
Not that he would have been tempted to stick around, but to the extent there was any part of him that wanted to, go to the Space Needle or just, get out of Dodge. We'll talk more about that later. For now, though, let's focus on the Rams and the Seahawks. And I'm confused about the Rams, Chris, because they were so great out of the gates.
Right.
They dismantled the Buccaneers. Then they get dismantled by the Cardinals. And let's focus on that Rams offense. Matthew Stafford did not have his best game in L.A. Obviously, they lost it. What do you think he does and the rest of that offense does against the Seattle defense after what they did or didn't do against the Cardinals defense?
Well, that's where I was going to start. The Rams are 3-1, and they lost a game where, in my opinion, where I look at it and evaluate it and go, okay, yeah, they lost, and, Arizona handled them. There's no doubt about that. I don't want to say handled them. I looked at that game more as Arizona played really good football, and the Rams just made some mistakes that I felt were self-inflicted, not necessarily just the Cardinals beat their butts, right, and just some physical whooping. Of course, we had the interception we talked about the other day. I mean, hey, he's open. Stafford's got to throw it out there. Sony Michel, random run to the right. Just fumbles, back up against their own territory. They miss a field goal. Cooper Kupp stumbles out of a break. It's going to be a walk-in touchdown. Matthew Stafford misses a guy that I would say if he throws the ball 100 times on a 5-yard out route at the goal line, he throws it on the money for a touchdown. He misses that a little bit. So I didn't come away going, oh, man, there's real concerns with the Rams. Now, their defense, it wasn't the best showing, certainly. But then, the flip side to that, Mike, just to wrap it up here, is the Seahawks won a game that, impressive, that they went into San Francisco and did it, but I don't have that same feeling. I had a feeling of there's still issues to me with the Seattle team. Yeah, they won the game, but, man, they got their butts whooped for a long period of time. And where I mean butts whooped, I don't mean self-inflicted. I mean the 49ers were marching up and down the field and doing whatever they wanted against them. And I still got questions more about the Seahawks than I do Rams, just to kind of sum up my long answer there, buddy.
And as to the Rams offense, one thing to keep in mind, and this bubbled up a little bit when Robert Woods scored a touchdown late against the Cardinals, frustration, kind of cast the ball aside. Sean McVay was asked about it earlier in the week. He said he has to get Woods more opportunities. I'm going to be watching the body language of Robert Woods tonight, one of the team captains. Cooper Kupp is getting the vast majority of the targets in that offense. And, you throw it to the open guy, but surely Kupp isn't getting that wide open in comparison to Woods. And as you know, Chris, and we've talked about this before, there are ways to design plays to get the ball to a certain guy.
Yeah, that's one right there.
They may need to design some plays or pick some plays out of the Rolodex that can get the ball to Robert Woods and just spread it around a little bit more. Because it really – and, okay, Kupp has been phenomenal, but, you got to keep your guys happy, especially coming off of a loss. If you're winning your games, no one's going to say boo. But that's going to be something I watch very closely tonight when the Rams have the ball. Are they spreading around a little bit more, or is it going to continue to be heavy to Cooper Kupp, who again is spectacular? Yeah. But you got other guys on the team.
No, yeah, got other guys on the team, and Robert Woods is a really good football player. I'm a big Robert Woods fan. He can do a lot of the things that Cooper Kupp does. It really, in my opinion, almost at the same level, maybe a little less than, but. I will say, Mike, I kind of agree with you. I think they got to find a way. Right now, through 4 weeks, whenever there's a gotta have it moment, the play, like you're talking about, to your point, is designed for Cooper Kupp. He's the guy that's the first read, and not that it goes there every time, but it goes there a lot in big moments. And a lot of those plays we just showed there in those highlights, they exemplify the point. They are plays where Cooper Kupp gets the advantage of the pick play, or Cooper Kupp, as the first highlight we showed, was on the backside blocking, and then the bootleg came out, and now he gets to be the first guy and the first read of that. To me, when you got that much talent at the receiver position, and one of the things I think that's great about the Rams is, they all can do a little bit of everything. Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods are all the same guy to me a little bit. Yeah, a little bit better, worse, whatever. But they all can, run routes, read coverages, and you can use them all in different roles within that. And I think that, you can kind of pin the tail on the donkey right now about, it's a big situation. They're going to do something for Cooper Kupp. And Arizona played that angle last week, and I do think that's probably part of the reason they stumbled a little bit on offense as well.
Well, and that's why they have to pivot to some of the other guys, whether it is Van Jefferson or Robert Woods, because when defenses start taking away the thing that you lean on in those key moments, that's when you better be ready to do something else. The running game's been an issue for the Rams, too, just because they lost Cam Akers before training camp even started. Darrell Henderson's been banged up, although he played last week and I think had almost 90 yards rushing.
Yeah,
I think
he
did better
14 for 89
than he was expected to do. So that needs to be a key part of this as well, to have balance in your offense. And you're right, the Seahawks did get outplayed by the 49ers, but all that matters is outscoring the 49ers, which is what the Seahawks were able to do. And how about this? Russell Wilson 9-1 on Thursday Night Football. At a certain point, that is skewed so far one way that something's going on. Short week, getting it together, getting it right. Remember last year, they got the Cardinals right after the Hail Murray game, when the Cardinals were the hot thing in the NFL. And, man, here we go. Cardinals are for real. And the Seahawks took care of them.
Yeah. Russell is... He's amazing in prime time, and most of the time amazing in clutch football games. I would think that, to your point, there's something there with Pete Carroll and finding the right formula for, short week games. The one thing I'll say about Seattle is, I don't think like a whole lot changes for them as compared to maybe other teams. Seattle's a little bit of like, this is what we do. There's not like, there's a few game plan shots down the football field, but I think that plays into her advantage a little bit, like as compared to maybe like McVay, the mad scientist, who's going, man, I wish I had 2 or 3 extra days. I'd be able to carve this team up a little bit more if you just gave me a little more time, and I could dive into this a hair more. So I that's my base thought of like off of that reasoning. But hey, at the end of the day, what you're talking about and what you said about the 49ers and that game, you let Russell Wilson hang around, and it's a 1-score game going into the fourth quarter. Like, 95 out of 100 times, Russell Wilson's going to win the game. He's going to make a few plays where he's just better than everybody else on the field, and that's what's scary about playing the Seattle Seahawks. And that's what's going to be fun about tonight. The Rams are a really good football team. I do think McVay got away from the run game a little bit last week early on when they fell down. And the Rams defense, kind of got, moved the ball on consistently last week. But it's a different game here in two that McVay and Raheem Morris, they know this offense. It's Shane Waldron. It's what McVay taught Shane Waldron. And I'm interested to see kind of how that plays out too. And I do think that's more of an advantage for the Rams than the Seahawks at this point.
And even though the Seahawks are 2-2, in contrast with last year when they started 4-0, Russell Wilson leads the league in passer rating right now, 129.9. That is the complicated traditional formula with a maximum number of 158.3. Used to be 90 was good. More recent years, 100 is good. 129.9 is pretty damn good. That's a combination of your completion percentage, your yards per attempt, your touchdown percentage based upon total attempts, and your interception percentage. Those are the four categories that go into that weird, very specific number. But Wilson's playing well. Wilson's playing very well. And you're right. If you let him hang around, especially in prime time, he's going to find a way to take it from you. And they need this one because they are 2-2. Falling to 2-3 in that division with the Cardinals at 4-0, that is going to be a tough one to climb out of if that's where the Seahawks find themselves after the game tonight.
100%. Really tough. I think it's a tough matchup for them. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm picking the Rams to win the football game. I mean, I'm not going to, hold the secret in any longer, all right? Because, again, Seattle, I think the Rams are the more talented football team. I think they're, better coached on both sides of the ball as far as they got a more creative offense. And their defense, of course, I think is more talented and better coached on that side of the ball as well. And that's where, I do look at it. The Seahawks, I always respect their intensity, the way they fight. I mean, they bring it every week. That's the one thing that's amazing about Pete Carroll and company. But I do look at it and go, I think they're going to have a hard time matching up against the Rams offense. I do. The Rams can protect the passer pretty good. When they want to run the ball, they run it effective enough. And then with the weapons on the outside and what Stafford can do, and it is a different offensive attack than what the Rams have been the last few years, they're playing more through Stafford. We're not seeing as much as, zone, fake the speed sweep, fake the zones, fake the speed sweep, fake the zone, screenplay. We're not seeing that. So it's a different team altogether that's coming into town. And for Seattle, they're a team that can't rush the passer with the front four, so they have to blitz. And you've heard me say this before. And they're not great in coverage in the back end. They matched up better with the 49ers, I think, than they do the Rams. And that's where I'm excited to see how this kind of plays out tonight.
Did you pick the Seahawks or the 49ers on Sunday?
I did pick the 49ers. Yes, I did.
Did you pick the Cardinals or the Rams on Sunday?
I picked the Rams too. Yeah, well, all right. Yeah.
I picked the Rams, but I also did pick the Seahawks, so I can only half gloat about that one. Our picks for all games coming up in the Mega Picks joint podcast, which will be streamed on Peacock at 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, and also available as the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast with clips with our picks for every game embedded throughout the ProFootballTalk.com website throughout the weekend. And we'll see how we both did this weekend.
I didn't have a good week. I know that last week.
Later on. I think I did better than I have, which is not saying much because I have not done well so far this year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.